Hello, my name is Warren Hammond, and this is my 5-object tutorial for the IGA Video Tutorial Contest. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you a warm-up with 3 and 4 objects, talk about the practice pyramid, which is a way to solidify your pattern, and give you some tips on technique and form with different objects, balls, rings, and clubs. Begin the warm-up with 3 by juggling at a comfortable pace to the height you would normally juggle 5. Pay particular attention to what your arms and wrists and hands are doing and how that affects the clubs in the air. Also, be sure to stand straight with your feet about shoulder length apart and your knees locked. Next, increase the dwell time. The dwell time is the amount of time that each object is in your hand. This helps you get used to making a throw right before you have to make a catch. Make sure to keep your rhythm even when doing this too. Now decrease the dwell time. This is especially important to do because when juggling 5, you're going to have much less time to make each throw. Again, be sure to keep an even rhythm when doing this one. Now move on to a flash, or for you sight swap geeks, 55500. Try to make sure that the clubs are following the exact same path either time between each of the different exercises you've done so far. Now move on to a shower. This is an often overlooked pattern in a warm-up, I think. It's very important because it allows you to troubleshoot each hand individually in what it's doing. Make sure you do it on each side though, or else it's going to be pretty much useless. Now finally move on to the snake, or I've heard it called the chase or the follow. And again, for you sight swappers, 50505. This is probably the most important pattern to warm up and the most difficult, so I usually save it for last. Do each exercise 3 times, and be sure to take a short break in between to let your muscles recover. Also, I try to do each individual exercise within the exercise about 30 seconds. Now let's move on to 4 objects. I start by doing 552, which is kind of a 4-club version of the chase, for those of you who don't know sight swap. Followed by a flash, or 5 clubs with a hole, or 5550. And then move on to a half shower or double singles or 5-3. I also make sure I do it from both sides. This entire warm-up is designed to work each sequence of throws you could possibly do within 5 clubs, and in general just to warm you up in kind of a stress-free way, I think. This is a diagram of a practice pyramid. I've written the number of catches on the inside of the pyramid and the number of repetitions on the outside. This is a diagram of a practice pyramid. I've written the number of catches on the inside of the pyramid and the number of repetitions on the outside. You'll move from a low number of catches with a high number of repetitions to a high number of catches with a low number of repetitions. In my experience, this has been the most efficient way to get better at a trick, and also one of the least stressful ways, and because you don't have to do them all in a row. If you drop, you just don't count that as a completion of a repetition. Now I'll discuss a few points about technique while I go through part of a practice pyramid. One common mistake jugglers make is to keep your knees bent. It's actually much better to keep your knees locked and your upper body relaxed. Part of what you want to be able to do is control the pattern, not have the pattern control you. And if you have your knees bent, that means you're trying to follow the pattern. Another side effect of keeping your knees locked is you know where you are. Now you kind of have a reference point for where the pattern should be, too. Also, I'd like to take the time to point out that I am terrible at kick-ups, and probably should have watched Luke's video. Another common mistake jugglers make, especially when learning 5 objects, and in particular clubs, is that they keep the pattern too far away from them. You actually want to keep it fairly close to your chest. It takes a lot less effort to actually make each throw when the pattern is closer to you. You can support the weight of the pattern more with your skeleton rather than your muscles. Also, make sure to only look up at the pattern with your head and neck. Don't lean back to try and see the rest of it, as this will make it much more difficult to juggle the pattern consistently. And that's the end of my tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'm hoping to put out another one with a few more details about technique and form in the future. Also, please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions or comments, and check out the link I've provided with this YouTube video to a document that's basically a workshop version of this tutorial, and you can print it out and take it with you to practice. Thanks.